All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video, and today we're going to be looking at Ben Sherman's Signature. And so this is a cologne or fragrance that I picked up at Marshall's, and I think it was like 10 bucks. So a lot of times you can find this at rack stores from $10 to $20. And it's actually a solid scent, and I like the scent. Now, this is not the most playful, youthful, fresh smelling scent. I just want to say that off the bat. So this is supposed to be inspired by or a clone-ish of Tom Ford ombre leather. Now this scent's not going to compare to that. Like I said, you find this from $10 to $20 at the store. The presentation is nice. It doesn't look like a super cheap presentation. This is a glass bottle, and this is what the atomizer looks like. So it's not great, but this is a very classy scent and definitely a worthwhile buy. And this is gonna go off the beaten path of what you're normally used to if you're into the fresh, sweet, more mainstream blue fragrances, that kind of thing. This is an eau de toilette concentration, and this is 50 milliliters or 1.7 ounces. This is typically what you'll find it in. I don't think it comes in a larger size. And on the top of this lid thing, this is plastic, it says a modern British icon. So Ben Sherman is like a British clothing brand, I believe. I think they make kind of golf shirts and different things like this. I'll just give you the note breakdown. It says this fragrance has top notes of green leaf, ozonic notes, cardamom, heart notes of leather, violet leaf, jasmine, and oak moss, and base notes of woody, oud, amber, and patchouli. Quite honestly, I mean, I do smell the green leaf and ozonic notes. Those kind of stand out to me. You know, I can definitely smell the leather and oak moss, and it definitely has a woody smell. And you can smell oud, amber, and patchouli as it dries down. To me, like this, it smells like a synthetic, not a high-end oud. But to me, like this scents that, or the notes that stand out are patchouli, you know, the woody oak moss note, leather, green leaf, and ozonic notes. I think those tend to disappear. Those top notes, green leaf and ozonic, they kind of go away after a while. I do kind of smell the cardamom, but it's not like a large part of the scent profile of this fragrance for me. I definitely smell the leather, and it basically dries to me to like leather, oak moss, amber, patchouli, oud to an extent, but I would say that's the lesser of those 4 or 5 that I said. I know I'm kind of jumping around here, but you just have to smell this. It is blended well. The ozonic, to me, I think if somebody hugs you, they'll smell the ozonic, but that doesn't really project as much. But when you initially spray this, if you overspray it, you will overpower people. You're gonna give yourself a headache and you're gonna knock people out. So this is one where, I don't know, maybe 6 sprays and you're good to go, and just reapply, you know, a mixture of skin and you know, clothing. Don't spray too close or you'll stain your clothing. This does smell like a very classy, more kind of formal scent. You can wear it to the office if it's business casual. If you work somewhere casual, I don't know, you may or may not wear it. To me, doesn't lend itself to like super casual, where I wouldn't wear it to the gym or anything like that, or just an errand Walmart run. You can, and you will smell good, and it's cheap enough that you can. You know, I'm not going to be comparing this to Tom Ford. I don't have that fragrance. I've smelled it. It is amazing. Like if that was your signature scent, more power to you. It just smells sophisticated. It smells refined. And if you're gonna spend, you know, a lot of money on a scent, I think that's well worth it. This would wear well with most people's skin types. I don't think it would turn sour in the heat. You know, I wouldn't necessarily say it's like a summer scent. To me, it's more of a fall, spring, winter scent. Really, fall and winter is probably what most people would say, but this definitely packs a punch. You can overspray this, but I wouldn't overspray this as much as other cheapies. And I would say this lasts about 4 to 6 hours. I go nose blind to scents sometimes, and I think this is kind of one of them. But one time I oversprayed, and I was actually going to the gym, and I was like, wow, this is kind of strong, and I could smell it 4 hours later. And I think it just depends on what type of clothing you're wearing. I'm gonna say 4 hours on this one. One day it did go 6 hours, and then like I wore it another day because I was so excited and hyped, and it didn't last as long. A lot of times cotton will absorb things more readily, whereas like a polyester blend or synthetic fibers don't as much, in my opinion. But it's so cheap, you can reapply throughout the day. And again, nobody's gonna confuse this for a cheap scent. And I really like this. I almost like this as much as El Dorado that I got. And I've made a video on that. So check that out. It is a very refined scent. It has oud. The oud in that one smells a little bit better than this one. Again, you're not gonna confuse this for a high-end scent if you know what you're doing or you know about scents. Like when you spray this, but overall, I think this is a great scent. I would give this probably, I mean, for cheapies, I would say this is a 7 out of 10. I don't know that it's not going to project and get you compliments like, ooh, that's fresh. Ooh, you smell good. I think if someone hugs you or they're in your vicinity, it is an inviting fragrance to me. And that just may be me. It doesn't have any kind of candy. It doesn't scream sweetness or give that type of vibe. But I think if people are around you and they smell you, they're going to, say, hey, oh, you smell good. What is that? But I don't think it's going to get the mass appealing compliments, just my opinion, just because it's a little bit more mature and classy. And so to me, those don't get as many compliments, but there's an air about them to where people will think it, but they won't say it as readily as they would with a fresh fragrance. So I know I jumped around a little bit on this review, but I wanted to kind of get this out. I've had this for like a year and I have 2 bottles of it. I do not think it fares as well in the heat. I would say temperature controlled environments are probably better for this fragrance. Stick to something more fresh for the heat. You can wear it. Maybe your skin chemistry is different. Maybe your clothing items hold the fragrance better, but to me, like if you're in Phoenix or something like that, Las Vegas, maybe not. If you're just gonna stay indoors, do it. But yeah, I wouldn't restrict this to any age group, but this would be odd to smell on a teenager, just being honest. I mean, you could, but then somebody would probably be like, hey, do you have your dad's fragrance on? Or I don't know, really sub 21, probably not. But yeah, everyone else, this is definitely a go. I would give it a 7 out of 10. If you're inclined to, I would definitely recommend Tom Ford Ombre Leather. To me, it's one of the top 5 scents, quite honestly. It's a really, really good scent, really refined, smells really good. And even if you're not, a fan of that type of scent, leather, oud, that kind of thing, it's just on another level. So check that out if you haven't. But here's the bottle right here, and I'll see you in the next video. And I guess one last thing I would say is like, this is going to boil down to an leather woody scent. Like overall in general, once it dries down in passing people. So that's why I say it's probably not going to get as many compliments. When you smell it on your hand, on your skin, or in your clothing, if somebody hugs you or something like that, they'll get more of those notes. They'll pick up on the amber and that oud and the patchouli and the ozonic notes and the green leaf if it's earlier on in the wear, maybe in the first hour and a half. If someone has a keen nose or they're familiar with colognes and fragrances, they're gonna pick up on those other notes. But for just like your basic person, they're probably gonna be like, ooh, that smells kind of smoky, woody, leathery. So that's my take. Okay, and last thing I would say is that if you are a younger man, or you're like a guy in their 30s and you're trying to talk to like younger women, they may say this would smell like something their dad would wear. I just don't believe a woman in her early 20s, probably not gonna appreciate it as much. They're gonna think it smells good, but it's just gonna smell a little bit older and maybe dad, uncle vibes for them. So I don't know. Everybody's different, but I would just say that. Like I would say probably a woman over 30 would probably appreciate this more and ombre leather more than, a younger woman. But that's not to say they think it smells bad, but it's just a framework that they would have for it would be an older gentleman.